Alright, so as we all know, there's a lot of really cool builds in Shinobi Striker, but not all of them serve the same purpose. So today, I decided it would be interesting to see what the best overall build is for each game mode. Because honestly, you need completely different things for each one. We'll cover every game mode, apart from Barrier Battle, because let's be real, who cares about that one? And I'll show you the best build that will give you the highest chance at winning. Now, without any further ado, let's get into it. Okay, let's start off with the most straightforward game mode in the game, that of course being Combat Battle. Now, it's pretty easy to just pick the build that's gonna deal the most damage, but offense is exactly what the players are gonna be focusing on mostly, so if you want the highest probability to win, you have to provide your team with something else. Which of course in this case is going to be a heal build. The main purpose of this build is just to simply heal your allies as much as possible, while not allowing the enemy team to interrupt you and trying not to die. So let's look at what exactly this build entails. The jutsu we're gonna be using are the Strength of 100 Hard Light Jutsu with Cellular Extraction Jutsu alongside with Yamato Harasaka as the sub. Finishing off with Uchiha Shuriken Jutsu Spring Storm. The weapon I'm using is the Adamantine Ninja Sword and the ninja tool is the Healing Tag. So as I said at the start, in Combat Battle, especially if you're solo queuing, you're most likely gonna run into people playing attack and range types. So if you want the highest chance at winning, you gotta provide whatever your team is missing, which for the most part is gonna be some good healing. And that's exactly what this build is for. Cellular Extraction Jutsu is incredibly simple, but still arguably one of the best healing jutsus in the game. It not only heals you and your allies for quite a big amount, but also has a really big range of effect, making it pretty easy to heal your entire team with just the press of a single button. Hardlight on the other hand is simply here to allow you to stay alive and heal your team with Cellular Extraction Jutsu and the Healing Tag, as it pushes anyone away from you upon activation and gives you super armor for the duration of the jutsu. You're gonna be targeted a lot in Combat Battle if you're a healer, so ideally you need a jutsu to keep the enemies off of you, and this one is one of the best ones for the job. Yamato Harasaka is also the perfect sub here, as it gives you a decent window to escape and also gives you time for your ninjutsu stocks to recover. Finally, the ultimate is a jutsu that I honestly don't see being used much, but I think it's the perfect choice for this build. Uchiha Shuriken Jutsu makes you throw a large demon shuriken, followed by a circle of kunai with healing and explosive tags. In the midst of the team battle, this is exactly the jutsu you want to have, as not only does it deal good damage to anyone it hits, but also heals your allies for 50%. It also doesn't take too long to charge up, so you're gonna be able to use it sometimes even 3 times during the duration of the game. And changing the tides of the battle that times in a single game gives you a huge chance at victory. Overall, this build gives you the best chance at keeping your team alive, so just try to stay close to them, heal as much as possible, and the wins will rack up. Alright, let's move on to the base battle build. For this one, the jutsu we're gonna be using are Sand Shield, Needle Spike Chizo, and Karma Linchpin Wild as the ultimate, sticking with Yamato Harasaka as the sub. The weapon is going to be the Scientific Ninja Tool Rhapsody, and the ninja tool is the Blast Bomb. Okay, so I'm not going to lie, this build isn't gonna provide you with the most amount of fun you can have while playing the game, but I can promise you're gonna be able to capture plenty of bases with it. All 3 jutsu here basically do the same thing in a different way. They allow you to stay on the base while not allowing the same for the enemy. Sand Shield is probably the most commonly used jutsu here. It creates a sand dome around you and doesn't allow anyone on the enemy team to step inside of it for the duration of the jutsu. This is a base battle classic, and even though there's quite a few counters to the jutsu nowadays, you still cannot discount it. If the enemy doesn't have one of those specific counters, there's not really anything they can do. They just have to wait and hope that you don't capture the base in the meantime. Jizo serves the same purpose, but does it in a slightly different way. By covering you in spiky hair that lashes out at anyone that gets close to you, dealing damage to them. I honestly don't see the jutsu being used enough. It has almost no counters, and even though it doesn't completely stop the enemy team from stepping into the base area, it gives them a real rough time trying to get you out. And it's the perfect jutsu for while you don't have Sand Shield or the ultimate, as you can just stay out the enemy and wait for your other ninjutsu to come back, or wait for the teammates to arrive. Finally, the ultimate is by far the best ultimate you can use for base battle. Karma Linchpin Wild makes you activate your Karma Seal and create a field of energy around you for 15 seconds that literally sucks out anything and everything. While you're using this jutsu, there's basically nothing the enemy team can do to stop. It gives you an absolutely huge defense buff, so unless you're super low on health, the enemy team will not be able to kill you. It also massively depletes the secure technique gauge of any enemy in the energy field, basically meaning that the enemy team is going to suffer major consequences if they wanna even stay at the base. Not only that, but you can also charge your own gauge while in this state, meaning that you're very likely to get this ultimate multiple times. Apart from 2 ultimates, this jutsu nullifies every single jutsu in the game. I cannot stress enough how OP this is for base battle. The only downside to this jutsu is what I mentioned at the start. It's not exactly a thrilling ride to use it. You literally just stand in place and do nothing. Nonetheless, this video isn't about the most fun build in the game, but about the best, and I think this one really cannot get much better. Okay, let's move on to Flag Battle. And for this game mode, I actually decided to make 2 builds, as you can either try to capture the flag or defend it. And both require very different builds, so I was like, hey, why not make 2? And if the first 2 builds were maybe not that fun to play, then these 2 last ones are not only good but also super fun. The first one is based around trying to get the flag. The jutsu we're gonna be using here are the Flying Raijin Jutsu and Almighty Push, with Swift Step as the sub and Lighting Chakra Mode as the ultimate. The weapon of choice here is the adamantine claws and the ninja tool is the paralysis seal kunai. Also, the outfit is mainly designed to give us a speed boost. This build is so insane for flag battle that it honestly sometimes doesn't feel fair. The play here is pretty straightforward. Before going in for the flag, you place down the kunai for the flying Raijin jutsu. Then you come in, pushing any enemy away with almighty push. And after you get the flag, you quickly teleport away and run off into the sunset with the flag. Now, this build is almost unbeatable under one condition. That being you not having to wait around for too long to capture the flag. If the flag is in the state where you walk into it gives it to you, then your chance of carrying it to your base are very high. Obviously, you first need to get to that stage, and even for that, this build works great too. You can basically follow the same formula, placing down the kunai and using almighty push, with the only difference being that you teleport away after the enemies recover, allowing you to get back the stocks and go in again until the flag is completely for the taking. Let's also not forget about the ultimate here, because lightning style chakra mode gives you a massive speed boost. Meaning that not only can you travel faster, but you can also put the kunai further away, because it won't take as long to travel to the flag, so the cooldown isn't as much of an issue. Honestly, if you manage to get the flag and you previously placed your kunai in a good position, you're golden. By far the biggest problem of this build is your teammates, who are likely to not be as well equipped taking the flag. If that happens, you're just gonna have to rely on them, or be around them for when they drop the flag and try to take it then. Apart from this, anyone is going to have a real tough time trying to stop you. Okay, let's move on to the last build of this video, that being the defensive build for flag battle made for defending the flag. The jutsu we're going for here is Heavenly Hand Power and 1000 Needles of Death, finished off with Tobirama's Paper Bomb ultimate. Also, the ninja tool I'm gonna be using is the Crimson Star. This build's entire strategy revolves around using Heavenly Hand Power. What you're basically gonna want to do is place down the water puddle made with Haku's jutsu, and then when the enemy gets close to you, you'll use Heavenly Hand Power to swap with them and not only stun them but also deal damage. After the ice needles hit the enemy, you also want to throw out your Crimson Star, dealing even more damage. If you manage to hit everything successfully, you'll deal a huge amount of damage to the opponent, and afterwards it shouldn't be too hard to finish them off. The same strategy goes for the ultimate. You'll want to place it down and teleport someone into it, ideally with more people around. Also, some of the footage you're seeing right now is from combat battle, but that's only because I was too impatient to wait for a flag battle to pop up, so excuse that please. Another thing I recommend doing is placing down one ice battle to the flag as well. Due to the fact that the 1000 Needles jutsu has such a short cooldown, it actually allows you to have multiple puddles on the map at the same time. So if you don't pull off your combo, you still have something to rely on. I will say that this build greatly struggles with defending the flag when you're alone and multiple people attack it, so just keep that in mind. Also, Heavenly Hand Power can sometimes feel a bit weird, as even though you're locked onto the opponent and close to them, it will still not teleport them, so that can be a bit frustrating, but you'll get better at using it the more time you spend with this build. It's mostly just honestly really fun teleporting people into traps. I know it's a bit cheesy, but I just find it really amusing. Alright, that's all of the game modes and all of the builds. I honestly believe all of these builds are pretty close to optimal in their respective game modes, apart from maybe the weapon and ninja tool, because I obviously don't have every single one available. Even though I think the combat and base battle builds are great, the flag battle ones are honestly just so fun to play with. They utilize two of the most fun jutsus in the game for me, that being Flying Raijin and Heavenly Hand Power, and I swear I'll never get tired of using them. Anyway, that's it for this video. Let me know what your go-to build is for each game mode and if you agree with my picks, and I'll see you all later. Bye!